ABC News confirming the five-time NBA champion for the Los Angeles Lakers was among 5 people killed when a helicopter crashed and caught fire in Southern California.
When news broke on January 26, 2020, the world stood still. ABC News confirming the five-time NBA champion for the Los Angeles Lakers was among 5 people killed when a helicopter crashed and caught fire in Southern California. Kobe Bryant was gone. And just like that, millions of fans across the globe lost more than an athlete. They lost a hero, a symbol, a legend. The Black Mamba wasn't just an NBA superstar, he was the NBA superstar. Ruthless on the court, inspirational off it. 5 championships, 18 All-Star appearances, over 33,000 career points. A relentless work ethic that became a lifestyle for millions who chased their own dreams with what he called the Mamba mentality. But behind the highlight reels, the championship rings, and the spotlight, there was another Kobe, a quieter one, a more vulnerable one. And when the doors to his private garage in Newport Beach were opened after his death, what they found didn't just surprise people, it rewrote how the world remembered him. Kobe Bryant didn't flaunt his private life. Yes, he lived large, but not loud. His garage wasn't shown off in magazines or interviews. Few even knew it existed. But when close family and friends finally entered the space after his passing, they weren't prepared for what they saw. This wasn't a garage. This was a personal time capsule, a memory palace, meticulously arranged, dust-free, nothing flashy, but everything intentional. Inside sat a collection of luxury cars, yes, but not the usual celebrity toys. Each vehicle told a story. Each item in that space whispered a piece of Kobe's private journey. And the centerpiece? A low-slung, midnight black 1963 Chevy Impala convertible. Polished to perfection. Restored down to its chrome-rimmed bones. It wasn't just beautiful. It was personal. To the average person, the Impala is a cool classic. Muscle, curves, Americana. But to Kobe, this car was something else entirely. It represented a part of his youth, his teenage years in Philly, the era of mixtapes and pickup games, of ambition that hadn't yet become reality. Unlike his Ferraris and Lambos, this car didn't scream money. It whispered roots. Photos near the car showed a young Kobe behind the wheel. One image had him smiling with his daughters, top down, wind in their hair. The car wasn't tucked in the corner. It sat front and center, lit like a spotlight. Visitors to the garage say it felt almost like a shrine. A mechanic who later inspected it said the engine was pristine. Original parts, classic dash, leather seats that looked untouched. This wasn't a status symbol, he said. This was a memory. Move past the Impala and the tone shifts. Here, the air smells of imported leather and race fuel. Ferrari red, Maserati gray, Lamborghini yellow. Kobe's years in Italy weren't just a childhood memory. They were a cultural foundation. His father, Joe Bryant, had played pro basketball there. And young Kobe fell in love with the language, the lifestyle, and yes, the cars. His garage reflected that. A Ferrari 458 Italia, a Lamborghini Aventador, a Maserati Gran Turismo, machines that roared with elegance, precision, and control, just like Kobe on the court. But the most touching detail? A custom Lamborghini Murcielago, specially modified for his wife Vanessa. It was understated but luxurious, chosen not to impress the world, but to honor his partner. On the wall nearby, old family photos from Italy, a postcard from Florence, and, remarkably, handwritten notes in Italian, likely from Kobe himself. Short affirmations, reminders of who he was before the fame. Not far from the Italian section stood something unexpected, a 1967 Pontiac Parisienne, gifted by none other than Snoop Dogg. Why that car? Because it represented LA swagger, old school West Coast cool, and a bond between two icons who had come up from different worlds but shared a respect for craft. There were more American classics too, a vintage Ford pickup, one Kobe bought early in his Lakers career, a Cadillac, even a Buick from the 70s. But it wasn't about horsepower, it was about history. License plates from road trips, an old Lakers jacket draped over a dusty driver's seat, a worn-out pair of sneakers in the passenger footwell. This wasn't Kobe the MVP. This was Kobe the kid, the dad, the friend. And then came the surprises. A vintage vending machine, straight out of the 90s, filled with unopened cans of soda. A handwritten sign above it read, Mamba's Snack Attack. Near it sat a beat-up recliner facing a small CRT TV that only played old Lakers games on loop. The seat cushion was worn just right, like he'd been sitting there replaying Game 7s and breaking down his own footwork. And in one corner, a shelf lined with rubber ducks, each one wearing a tiny Lakers jersey, each duck labeled with a name and number of one of Kobe's past teammates. Shaq, Fisher, Powell, even lesser-known players had their duck. It was ridiculous and completely perfect. That mix of intensity and playfulness, that was Kobe. But there was one thing nobody expected to find. Tucked behind his prized Ferrari, inside a locked drawer, a handwritten journal, page after page in Kobe's distinctive handwriting. Notes, reflections, vulnerabilities. One entry read, "They see the rings. They don't see the 3 a.m. nights, the self-doubt, the weight of always needing to be perfect." Another said, "I lead because I must. But sometimes, I wish someone would lead me." It was raw, private, and painfully human. Also found, letters from fans. Not the usual praise, but heartfelt cries for help. Kids talking about depression, parents dealing with loss, young athletes asking for guidance. Many of them had handwritten replies, Kobe's own words, carefully folded and addressed. He never publicized them. He never wanted credit. He just wanted to help. In a far corner of the garage, behind a cabinet of memorabilia, family members discovered something that brought them to tears. A small safe. Inside it, a set of recorded videos, each labeled with the name of one of his daughters. They weren't for public release. They weren't press statements. They were dad videos. Kobe talking about life, about love, about being afraid, about trying anyway. He told stories from his career. He shared advice. He said, "I love you," 1,000 different ways. He recorded them, just in case something ever happened. And it did. Today, Kobe's garage has been carefully preserved by his family. Some of its items, like the Impala, the Ferrari, and yes, even the vending machine, have been moved to the Mamba Sports Academy. Not for display, but for inspiration. Young athletes now walk through the space and see that greatness isn't built on image. It's built on intention, hard work, heart, family. The Italian cars show his love for craftsmanship. The American classics show his connection to culture. The letters and journals reveal a man who didn't just perform greatness, he carried its burden. The recliner, the ducks, the fortune cookies, they remind us that even titans of sport still laugh at silly things and drink too much soda sometimes. When the world lost Kobe Bryant, it lost more than a basketball player. It lost a storyteller, a mentor, a father, and a man who, even in private, was building something for the future. That garage wasn't just where he stored his cars, it was where he stored his heart.